Right now on News 3, the Madison School Board proposing changes to how it staffs special education.
And the Packers get a win this weekend, but it's what happened before the game that has a lot of people talking.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. A new report is out recommending changes to Madison School's special education staffing.
And educators and parents alike aren't on board with these recommended changes. Our Keely Arthur joins us to detail the report and explain the opposition. Keely?
Well, while the report recommends additional staffing, many advocates say it doesn't go far enough in helping people with disabilities.
My son is Felix, and he is on the autism spectrum. He's in 5th grade.
Anna Moffitt says Felix is well taken care of in the Madison Metropolitan School District.
He's doing fabulous because he has a strong team that wrap around him. They are meeting his needs. They are doing everything they can to help him reach his potential.
But she believes overall there are gaps in the district regarding the care of students with special needs, and says a new report out recommending improvements just doesn't cut it.
There are also some areas that I have concerns about.
She isn't alone. It was standing room only at the Madison School Board meeting tonight. More than a dozen parents, teachers, and even one student spoke against the report, which recommends adding 10 additional special needs educators to the district and 6 support staff members, but also recommends removing 3 positions at the middle school level.
If we know our middle schools have been struggling, if we look at our student achievement data, if we look at our behavior data, if you talk to teachers and families, you know our middle schools are struggling. So to pull out of middle schools is, to me, kind of a red flag that there's something wrong with this analysis.
Another concern, the fact that Education Resource Services, the consulting firm which conducted the report, interviewed staff but failed to talk to students and parents. Moffitt says there are some positives she found, though. The suggestion to have more staff members allocated based off a child's specific needs and providing additional staff to students dealing with poverty.
They face many more barriers to getting adequate health care, mental health care, services, navigating the systems. So I do support that.
Now, the school board will now review the report and then decide whether or not to implement those changes into the next budget. That budget will be voted on next fall.
Keely Arthur in the News Center. Keely, thank you. Kenosha School District teacher is on paid leave while the district investigates a video taken by a student of their teacher saying a racial slur. The video was recorded on November 29th at Bradford High School. Students say a girl used the word toward a classmate, and that is when the teacher chimed in. The district says they just learned of the incident today and put the teacher on paid leave until they wrap up their investigation.
The worst is over for folks in the southeast who were pummeled by a powerful winter storm over the weekend. As much as 20 inches of snow fell in some locations from Georgia to West Virginia. Hundreds of buried and broken down cars still litter the roads. Tonight, temperatures are dropping. Hundreds of thousands are still without power. At least 3 deaths were blamed on that storm. Let's get a look at our forecast now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, now I don't know we have any big storms in the forecast. I don't see anything really for about the next week and a half, which brings us not too far before Christmas. Weather track tonight, very quiet across Wisconsin. We had a few mid and high level clouds for a time this afternoon. Otherwise, skies are mainly clear. Low temperatures this morning started out on the chilly side. Here in Madison, we dropped to 13, but several places to our north and west were in the single digits. And there was some fog down toward the Illinois state line that brought some pretty nice views of the frost on the rooftops and on the trees, but also left a few roads slick. High temperatures today generally were in the low to mid 30s over much of southern Wisconsin, but it was about 10 degrees colder to the north and west. And the reason for that is the snow on the ground there. And temperatures right now range from 10 degrees in Black River Falls to almost 30. In fact, 30 in Milwaukee in the southeastern portion of the state. Here in Madison, we're at 24. A little bit of a breeze tonight. Wind chills right now generally in the upper teens. By tomorrow morning, those temperatures will drop off. Oh, one thing too, we also have an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday for the possibility for some light freezing rain and light snow. That's probably the most adverse weather that we have in the forecast. But by tomorrow morning, look for skies to be mainly clear. Temperatures will start out around 20 degrees. Look for another sunny day tomorrow with a high temperature of 35. That's your first alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary. Puerto Rico's power company says it plans to hire private firms to repair some 106,000 streetlights across the U.S. territory that are still out more than a year after Hurricane Maria. The island's electrical power authority says it does not have enough employees to do the job. They plan to contract companies starting in mid-January for repairs that would otherwise take up to 8 months. There is 1 week left to register your flood damage with FEMA. Dane County's Disaster Recovery Center will close Friday at 2 o'clock. Home and business owners will have until next Monday, the 17th, to register. Wisconsin residents must register to be considered for any recovery money. A single dad and his 5 kids are without a home after a fire on Saturday.
They live in the Iowa County village of Hollandale. Chris Madison's family starting from scratch now after returning from vacation to find their home destroyed in that fire. No one was hurt, but the Hollandale Fire Department is asking the community for its help replacing necessities as the family looks for a temporary place to live. Madison says after a Facebook post written by the fire department, the community has already given so much.
People I've never met have texted me and called me and asked me to take me shopping, to give me money. I mean, I have a hard time taking charity. You know, at this point, I don't know how much I can refuse. It's nice. It's nice to feel the love of a community.
Now, investigators still haven't determined the cause of the fire. Community members donated a storage unit to the family to collect donations in Hollandale. Crews in Cambridge are still trying to figure out what sparked the fire that destroyed the popular restaurant there. That's Giovanni's. It went up in flames last night, being ruled a total loss now. No reported injuries, but community members say the building has a lot of history there that went down with it. Giovanni's was only open for about 1.5 years.
Officers say 1 person is in custody tonight as police continue to dig for more information into a shooting this weekend at an East Side Gentlemen's Club. Officers were called to Visions on East Washington Avenue around bar time Sunday for reports of a large fight. About 40 or 50 people were there at the time. While officers were on the way, 4 people were shot and 1 was stabbed. Everyone is expected to be okay. Madison police are investigating another armed robbery on the city's west side, this time in the parking lot of the Walgreens on Raymond Road. A family, grandparents, their daughters, and a grandchild were all getting into the car when someone came up and pointed a gun at the grandfather. The robber got away with 3 purses. This comes after a pair of carjackings at Madison daycare centers last week. Police believe those 2 daycare robberies are connected, but they are still trying to figure out if this most recent one is related.
And these should be safe places outside of a drugstore, at daycare centers. We should be able to go to and fro from these places without worrying that someone's going to come up with a gun and rob us.
In all of these incidents, children were in the cars. Despain calls the crimes brazen and unheard of for Madison. Although the descriptions of the gunmen are similar, they are pretty generic, but MPD has good leads on the daycare carjackings, hoping for arrest soon. A
northwestern Wisconsin community holding a Tree of Hope ceremony tomorrow in honor of missing teenager Jamie Claus. She disappeared October 15th when police in Barron found her parents dead. Investigators believe Jamie was abducted. Her classmates and others have written messages of hope, which will be put on that tree. Detectives have ruled out thousands of tips in their search for Jamie. Jurors in Virginia say they need more time to come up with a sentencing recommendation for a man who killed a woman and injured dozens of counter-protesters at a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia last year. The jury convicted James Fields Jr. of first-degree murder on Friday. They deliberated on a sentence for 2 hours today and will return tomorrow.
We are learning more tonight about Governor Walker's deadline for taking action on the lame duck session bills. Lawmakers passed the Republican measures last week, which would strip some powers from the incoming governor and attorney general. The bills will be brought to the governor's office on December 20th unless he asks for them sooner. He'll have until the 27th to sign, veto, or partially veto the measures. If he doesn't take any action by then, the bills automatically become law. Senator John Erpenbach is encouraging the governor to think about the legacy he'd be leaving.
If you're Scott Walker and you sign those bills into law, politically it's probably not necessarily a very good thing for you to do. Again, we're all curious to see what he is going to do. The good thing to do is to veto them.
A spokesperson from Walker's office told us that while the governor's office has not yet received the bills, the governor is reviewing the legislation and we will advise when he takes any action. Governor-elect Tony Evers is going on a statewide budget listening tour this week. The incoming Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes will also join him. The tour begins tomorrow in Green Bay with other stops in Wausau, La Crosse, and Milwaukee. Each session is open to the public, but you'll need to register ahead of time. Participants will be able to share their budget priorities, and we have more information on these sessions online at channel3000.com.
U.S. Border Patrol has made 32 arrests at a demonstration at the border separating San Diego from Tijuana. A Border Patrol spokesperson said 31 people were arrested for trespassing. One was arrested for assaulting an officer. About 300 people participated in the demonstration. Organizers say it was a way to show support for a caravan of Central American asylum seekers. President Trump's administration will have a new look in 2019 following more staff shakeups. The president parting ways with White House Chief of Staff John Kelly at the end of the year and says he's interviewing candidates for that job. Vice President Mike Pence's Chief of Staff Nick Ayers was leading the race to replace Kelly, but he withdrew this weekend. The revised Chief of Staff shortlist includes North Carolina Congressman Mark Meadows, Office of Management and Budget Director Mick Mulvaney, and Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. An accused Russian spy who was once photographed with Governor Walker and believed to have tried to infiltrate Republican political circles during the 2016 campaign appears to have reached a plea deal with the Justice Department. Maria Butina's attorneys and prosecutors filed a two-page request today for a change of plea hearing as early as tomorrow. Butina has maintained her innocence and has been jailed since her arrest for illegally acting as a foreign agent. Still ahead tonight at 10, a pregame miscue that has a lot of Packer fans talking.
And Time Magazine announces its finalists for its Person of the Year. Who made the short list? When we come back. Welcome back. Time Magazine has released its list of finalists for its 2018 Person of the Year.
Since 1927, it has identified a person or a group of people who most influenced the news and the world. The shortlist announced on Monday includes the more than 2,000 families separated at the U.S.-Mexico border. Special counsel Robert Mueller, who is investigating Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. Christine Blasey Ford, who testified against then Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, accusing him of sexual assault. The list also includes names behind big moments in entertainment like Black Panther director Ryan Coogler and former Hollywood actress Meghan Markle, now Duchess of Sussex, after marrying Prince Harry.
Wisconsin is among the states with the lowest average credit card debt in the country. According to the new report from creditcards.com, Wisconsin, Hawaii, Utah, Minnesota, and Massachusetts are the 5 states with the least debt, averaging about $7,900 per household. When it comes to the most debt, according to the report, New Mexico has it the worst, followed by Louisiana and West Virginia. The erratic stock market staged a dramatic recovery today from yet another plunge. The Dow closed 34 points higher, recovering from a 500-point slide that briefly knocked the index below 24,000 for the first time since late June. The Nasdaq closed up 51 points. The Fearless Girl statue in New York City has been moved to a new location today, now standing outside the New York Stock Exchange. She was first installed across from the Charging Bowl in the financial district on the eve of International Women's Day in 2017. The girl rapidly became a tourist magnet and symbol for female empowerment. The city said it was moved because the crowds around it at the original location were unsafe.
An area brewery celebrating the holiday season by building a special kind of tree. More than 250 kegs and plywood make up this Kegmas tree over at Capitol Brewery. It was put up to bring attention to the brewery's new beer, the Capitol Whisk-Gran Wheat Ale. You can check it out when the beer will be tapped on December 20th. Even though the Packers won their first game of the post-Mike McCarthy era yesterday, it's what happened before kickoff that has many fans talking.
The flag was being pulled out right in front of me. A lady fell and a guy fell on top of her. And all it did for that millisecond was take my brain off track.
Frank Herman says it was a dream come true after a sudden cancellation. He was called in last minute as a backup to sing the national anthem before the game. He says he hit the first 3 phrases perfectly, but there's a thin line between living the dream and waking a nightmare. He lost track of the words there. He says he apologized and says he would love for another opportunity to try again sometime soon. We'll see if he gets it.
It's a shame because he's got a great voice.
He said somebody stumbled in front of him and kind
two people
broke his concentration there. Poor guy. All right, well, it was a chilly one yesterday. We're looking pretty good right now for this time of the year, although that could change midweek, Gary.
Yeah, we're still keeping an eye on Wednesday for the possibility for some light freezing rain and light snow. The latest computer models are indicating more of light snow and a little less of the freezing rain, which I suppose is good news there. But either way, it could lead to some slippery travel conditions. So we have an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday. Just keep everybody's attention that there's a possibility for some slippery travel conditions. Latest snowfall potential actually has come up to 1.4 inches in Madison from our local RPM computer model. That might be a little bit high. Earlier it was down about 0.2 of an inch, 0.3 of an inch. But it makes a little more sense if the snow starts a little bit earlier, temperatures will be a little bit colder, and that would lessen the freezing rain threat. The time-lapse from the Platteville Queen Bee Radio Skycam this morning shows some early morning fog and then just bright sunshine for much of the day today. Just a few clouds came through in the afternoon, but all in all, it was a pretty nice day, at least by mid-December standards. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Skies are mainly clear tonight, and as we look at the almanac for today, temperatures almost right at normal. It's 36 for the high, 4 degrees above average, the low of 13, 5 degrees below average. And right now, we're sitting at 24 degrees. Skies are mostly clear, the air is calm, and the wind chill, well, it says 18 degrees. I wonder how you can come up with an 18-degree wind chill with the air being calm. There was a little bit of a breeze earlier. Snow depth, you can see there's still a fair amount of snow on the ground, several inches from La Crosse up into Marshfield and Rhinelander through the central portion of the state, and that's made a difference in temperatures. Look at the highs today. Over that snow cover, temperatures were mainly in the lower to middle 20s, whereas areas that have very little snow cover, like here in the southern part of the state, temperatures were a good 10 degrees warmer. Now, as we take a look at weather track, the upper level winds still from the northwest, but they're not coming right out of Canada. They're kind of coming in from the Dakotas and northern Minnesota rather than out of the central regions of Canada. So temperatures are starting to moderate, and much of the country is seeing a west to east flow in the jet stream. The big dip in the jet stream in the east, that's what brought the storm system to the southeastern part of the country. But the next weather system with southwesterly winds aloft will actually bring in fairly mild air for this time of year. I mean, not balmy air, but at least temperatures slightly above normal. And it looks like that trend will continue for much of the next couple of weeks. High pressure is located just to our west, keeping the skies mainly clear here. Temperatures range from the single digits up near the U.S.-Canadian border to mainly 20s across much of the rest of the central Midwest. And as we look at the future track, you can see tomorrow plenty of sunshine, but the next weather system moving in could bring us some light snow showers or flurries early on Wednesday morning, and maybe a little bit light freezing rain before it comes to an end. So as we check out our forecast for tonight, look for mostly clear skies, not quite as cold. Daybreak temperature 20. For tomorrow, look for a high of 35, so very similar to today with mostly sunny skies. Future track shows those temperatures tumbling to around 20 by early tomorrow morning. Lots of sun during the day tomorrow, highs mid-30s. Clouds move in tomorrow night. There could be a few flurries or a little freezing drizzle late, and then some light snow early in the day on Wednesday, maybe a little bit of light freezing rain mixed in. High temperatures eventually reaching the middle 30s, and snowfall amounts, like I say, probably around an inch. Most areas will be less than that. Otherwise, the 7 to 10 day forecast calls for temperatures to generally be above normal. Not by much, but still mid to upper 30s through the end of next week. For the following week, look for just a chance for some flurries on Wednesday and Thursday. Other than that, that's a pretty quiet looking forecast, at least for the next 10 days out.
We'll take it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No Giannis for the Bucks tonight, but the rest of the guys picking up the slack against the Cavs. Highlights from Fiserv just ahead.
Well, the Bucs 17-8 so far this season, and they haven't lost 2 consecutive games all year. Tonight, hosting the Cavaliers, a team that now includes Matthew Dellavedova. But no Giannis tonight, though. He was out with a sore neck. Bucs off to a hefty lead. Eric Bledsoe with the ball. He drains a 3, one of his 4 in the game today. Game-high 20 points for him. Later, Sterling Brown, the one-handed slam, only player off the bench in double digits with 12. Fourth quarter action now. Malcolm Brogdon from downtown, 18 for the Prez. And then later, DJ Wilson sighting, making his presence known there. Bucs win big tonight, 108-92, the final. Well, there have been 5 weeks of Big Ten Weekly Awards so far this season. Ethan Happ has been named Player of the Week in 4 of them. The senior averaging 27 points per game. He helped the Badgers beat Rutgers last week and scored a career-high 34 points and 11 rebounds in overtime in the loss at Marquette on Saturday. Happ also leading the country in double-doubles. Ethan and the guys back in action on Thursday at the Kohl Center. They host Savannah State. And it's award season for football, and the Badgers picking up a few accolades. Running back Jonathan Taylor winning yet another award, along with right guard Bo Benchel. They're both named to the Associated Press All-American First Team. J2 also won the Doak Walker Award last week, which is given to the best running back in the country. Left guard Michael Dieter also honored. He was named to the Associated Press's second team. So the Seahawks beat the Vikings tonight on Monday Night Football. Both teams still in contention for the NFC wildcard. And now the Bears, they are 1 win away from clinching the NFC North. The Packers head to Soldier Field on Sunday. And Green Bay still in the hunt to make the playoffs. Here's what has to happen. First and foremost, the Packers have to win out with 3 games left in the season. They're away at the Bears, like we just said, the Jets, and then home hosting the Lions to wrap up the regular season. The Redskins, Eagles, and Panthers, they all have to lose 1 game. The Vikings have to lose at least 2 of their next 3. And the Seahawks, they have to lose every game for the rest of the season. So stay tuned for that. The American Family Insurance Championship has truly grown in its 3 years of existence, raising more and more money for various charities every year. It really has become a weekend event with concerts, the celebrity foursome, and of course the actual tournament. It raised $1.1 million in its first year, $1.6 in its second, and today the year 3 total was announced by Bodie O'Rourke.
There you go, all the way down.
It's a great week. We look forward to it every year, and to have everybody involved, obviously a great sponsor. The whole team, puts it all together. We just show up. I just show up and play a little bit, support it as much as I can, but it's just it's a wonderful week for us to be a part of the give back, and that's what we're here today.
And this Friday night, the winter installment of Prep Mania Game of the Week starts with a battle for first place in Big 8 girls basketball. Memorial and Verona part of a 5-way tie for first place at 4-1. Jay Wilson and Bill Brophy on the call. You can watch the Spartans and Wildcats face off live on channel3000.com. That's Friday night at 7:15. We'll be right back.
Gary's here with the final check of your forecast.
We have an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday for the possibility for a little bit of light freezing rain and some light snow. Might see about an inch of accumulation. Temperatures right now mainly mid-20s with wind chills in the upper teens, but that 7 to 10 day forecast above normal temperatures, not by much, but some rain or snow chances Thursday as well late in the day, and then dry after that.
Gary, thanks for joining us.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.